And with your eyes closed, just placing your hands on the top of your knees, pausing for a moment to ground yourself and feel a sense of just coming into the space right here, right now. Maybe this week has been a lot of forward thinking for you, or maybe even there have been things that have been bringing your mind and your attention into sort of past thinking. Okay. This is common. The nature of the brain, kind of swinging back and forth from the future to the past. And the mind has, in order to get the mind to be in the present, we often have to resource some tools in which to help facilitate this sort of coming back to the now and coming back to the center. So I think that in some ways, if we can take the pressure off of ourselves, knowing that it is actually more common to have a mind that's sort of always thinking forward or thinking back, right? But that it is possible to strengthen the mind's ability to stay right here and right now. Let's use the first tool, your breath. So take your hands and place them above your navel. So kind of in that space that's between the low rib and the navel, palm over palm. Eyes closed, relax through your jaw, your face, eyelids. Take a deep breath in. Exhale out. Keep breathing deeply and feel the expansion of your breath. Today, we'll be focused on moving and breathing, keeping it simple. Because when things are a little bit more challenging, stressful, or uncertain, simplifying has been my sort of go-to, how to find my way back to being more in the now. So anytime through class that you notice the mind drift, I invite you to take your hand right here, and any pose that you're in, just take your hand here and feel your breath. Feel it move. Hear the sound of your breath. Take one more inhale. And when you exhale, open your eyes and then place your hands on the top of your knees. We're going to do some shoulder shrugs, which release the traps, a point of tension. Now just draw your shoulders up towards your ears as you take a really big inhale, and then exhale, drop your shoulders down. Okay? On an inhale, draw the shoulders up as high as you can. Exhale, head back down. Okay, so draw the shoulders back up and release the shoulders down. We're going to do that a couple times through class and other poses as well. So find your way into a tabletop position. In tabletop pose, we want to have the hands shoulder distance apart. The knees are separated about hip width distance. With an inhalation, send your gaze to the sky and tailbone lifts up, navel drops down towards the mat for cow pose. Exhaling to a cat pose, round your back and gaze towards your navel. Moving with your breath. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat pose. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. One more time. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And then finding neutral position. Walk your hands forward about a palm print and then tuck the toes. Downward facing dog. Reach your seat to the sky. And pedal out your feet. Maybe you want to pause on one side and just drop the heel a little closer to the mat, deeply stretching through your calf and lower leg. You could do that on the other side. Then bend both of your knees really deeply, just to stretch out the toes and the soles of the feet. And then push the thigh bones back. Lower abdomen's lifting, head drops heavy. Next inhalation, take the right leg, reach it up. Bend your knee, open up your hip, draw your heel towards the left side of your space or your left shoulder blade. Inhale, take your leg to the sky. When you exhale, step your foot forward between your hands. Take your right hand, reach it up. To loosen up through our shoulder a little more, let's take some big circles with the right hand. Bring the hand towards the back wall. down towards the floor. If you want, you can dip your hips a little to the floor. Reach it forward and then up. Good. 4 more times. Go at your own pace. Big circles with the arm. Breathing deeply. Imagine your arm is moving through water. And last one, we'll place the palm onto the mat, stepping back, downward facing dog. Send your left leg upward. Bend your knee, open up your hip. Heel works towards the right side of the room. Send your leg high in an inhale. Exhale, step your foot forward into a low lunge pose. Left hand's lifting up. And then bring the hand back. If you want to dip the hips down a little bit to stretch the fronts of the hip, reach it forward and up. 4 more times. Breathe deeply. Try not to focus on if you're doing it correctly. Instead, focus on what you're feeling. If it doesn't feel good, we adjust. And then reach the hand up to the sky, release the hand down. This time, step your right foot forward to the top of your mat. Ragdoll pose. Take your feet hip width apart. Fold forward, hinge from the hip creases. And grab the opposite bicep or opposite elbow. Sway a little side to side like an elephant trunk. And then nod your head, yes, shake it, no. Release your hands down towards the ground. On an inhale, halfway lift flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Press into the feet, and on a long inhale, rising up into mountain pose, sweeping tall. Exhale, bring hands to the heart, Samasthiti, standing at attention. Draw your gaze to your fingertips or close your eyes. Setting the intention to simplify. This hour is simply about moving and breathing. Anchoring the mind to the moment by focusing on how poses feel and the quality of our breath. Deep inhale. Exhale it down. Open your eyes, relax your hands down at your side. Sun salutation, stretch your arms to the sky in a mountain pose, Tadasana. Palms can face in towards each other. You can send your gaze high if that feels okay for your neck. On the exhalation, folding forward, hands through the heart or swan dive. In forward fold, knees can bend, head is dropping heavy. Halfway lift on your inhale, creating a flat back. Plant your hands, step back into a high plank pose. Legs straight or place the knees down. Slide forward an inch or two. Then bend the elbows straight back and lower a few inches into low plank chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Flip to tops of feet. In up dog, try to lift your knees and thighs off the mat. Downward facing dog, reach your seat to the sky. Take a deep breath in. Exhale out. One more time, breath in. Empty it all out. Step or hop your feet to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, mountain pose, Tadasana. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step or hop, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Breathing in. Breathing out. Inhale. Exhale all of it out. Step or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale's half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Step or hop back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath in. Emptying it out. Keep breathing deeply. Take your feet as wide as the outsides of your mat and step them about an inch closer. Down dog twist is next. Take your left hand, bring it across towards your right calf, ankle, or the outside of your foot. And then gaze underneath your right arm.
Come back to the down dog with the left palm and take your right hand, reach it across. If this is too intense for your wrist, your shoulder, shorten the down dog another inch or so. Let's take it back. Walk your feet back towards your hip width apart. Gaze to the hands and step or hop to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale, rising mountain pose. Sitting back into your chair pose, Utkatasana. In Utkatasana, reach your arms behind you, interlace your fingers. Draw the knuckles down towards the ground. Now, if you can, engage the lower abdomen so that you feel your low back gently press towards your wrists, and then widen across the collarbones. Okay, sink just a little bit deeper into your chair. Take one more breath. Keep the hands interlaced as you exhale and fold forward. Breathe here. Float your hands slowly down towards the mat. Halfway lift on your inhale. Plant your hands, step or hop it back. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing. Send the right leg to the sky. Inhale. Exhale, stepping right foot forward between your hands. Warrior one, back heel spins down. Arms reaching up to the sky. In this first warrior one, let's take a moment to stretch a little bit through the side body. Hold your left wrist with your right hand very gently, okay? And then reach up through the left hand, arch it very slowly to the right. Plug into your back foot. Feel your way and breathe your way through this pose. If it feels wrong, you can always go back to a traditional warrior one pose. One more inhale. Then on the exhalation, come back to the center, airplane the arms. Torso leans over the thigh and gaze down. Reach the fingers long behind you and imagine that you're squeezing a ball, like a soccer ball, basketball, behind you with your palms. Next, inhale, reach the arms back, tall warrior one, and plant the palms. Step back, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left leg lifting. And step left foot forward. Warrior one, back heel spins down. Arms reached on. Shoulders and heart are shining towards the front of your mat. Gently hold your right wrist and start to lengthen the right fingers towards the left side of your space. Engaging your back leg, pressing into the back foot to stretch deeper. Inhale, come back to the center. Exhale, airplane the arms. Torso leaning forward, gazing down. Activate your upper body by reaching back and imagining you're squeezing a ball between the palms. Reach tall with an inhale, warrior one. Exhale, plant palms, step it back, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Moving right into our flow. Inhale the right leg high. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, airplane the arms. Inhales, warrior one, reach it tall. Plant the hands, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Take your left leg high. Step it forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, airplane arms. Inhale, warrior one. Chaturanga, exhale. Breathe in, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Do that one more time, each side on your own. Breathe and move. Suzy.
Wonderful. When you arrive back in your downward facing dog, really plug into the palms. Thigh bones can reach back a little more. Gaze forward to your hands, step or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, rising to a mountain pose. Sitting back into chair pose, hands begin at the heart. Send the arms back like airplane wings, hug shoulder blades together. Option today, if you'd like, you can lift your heels up off the mat, but maybe all week long you felt like you were kind of in this strange balancing position all week, holding your breath. So if you want, you can join me and keep the heels grounded. Find a place where it's easier to breathe. Next inhalation, heels come down, arms reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. On the exhale, step or hop back, chaturanga. We can always skip these two if you'd like. Upward facing and go right to downward facing dog. Take the right leg high in your inhale. Exhale, step right foot forward. Inhale to a warrior one, reach it up. In the warrior one, interlace your fingers, flip your palms face up. And the palms flipping face up to the sky. Start to shrug your shoulders up towards your ears and back down. 2 more times, shoulder shrug, back down. 1 more time, shoulder shrug. Bring them back down. Okay, and then interlace your fingers behind your back. We're gonna flow a little bit with the humble warrior. So I'd like for you to imagine only going about 75% of the way to humble warrior. So then inhale, lift up through your heart. On the exhale, bow it forward, go 75% of the way down. Next, inhale, rise back up. Maybe you look up. Exhale, bow it forward. Inhale, rise up. Last one will hold, exhale. And then feel and breathe your way a little deeper. Rise back up. Inhale the arms high. On the exhale, plant the palms. Step it back, chaturanga. Breathe and up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left side, lift high with the left leg. Step your foot forward. Inhale, warrior one. Interlace your fingers with your palms to the sky. 3 shoulder shrugs on your own. And release the hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers. Humble warrior, about 3/4 of the way. Lift up through the heart. And bow it forward on the exhale. Inhale, come back up. Exhale. Breathe and rise up. Exhale. This time we hold. Hug your knee into your shoulder towards your knee. Come back up to a tall warrior. The arms reach to the sky. Plant the palms, step it back. Chaturanga. Inhales, upward facing dog. Downward facing, exhale it out. Next, inhale the right leg's high. Exhale, step right foot forward. Crescent lunge. Option to keep your back knee lifted or place the knee down. Arms are reaching up towards the sky. Feeling centered sometimes means inching your front foot a little more to the right. To steady the balance, it often helps to find a focal point for your eyes. Yeah, and then just feel that not only helps your balance, but your mind to sort of anchor right to the now. Then bring your hands together at your heart. Lean your torso forward and twist to the right, revolve crescent lunge. Opposite elbow to thigh. If you'd like to open your arms wide, focus on your breathing. Twisting poses are said to be detoxifying, cleansing, wringing out, so that you can set down what you no longer need. One more breath in. When you exhale, release your hands to your mat. Step back, high plank pose. Side plank will be next. Bring your big toes together.
Slide your right hand forward an inch or two, roll it to the right, and send your left hand to the sky. An option here is as well to place the right knee down. If it is not comfortable for your wrist today, the knee can be so helpful. And in either version, you can float the top leg upward. Advanced yogis, try smiling. Ooh, that feels good. Release the hand down to the mat. Find a steadiness, take a breath in, then lower it down to chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left leg lifting upward. Exhale, step it forward. Crescent lunge. You can keep your back knee lifted or place it down and reach the arms up. Inner thighs draw towards each other. Okay, lower abdomen lifts. Reaching up through the tips of your pinky fingers. Hands will come to the heart. Lean your torso forward. Twist to the left, revolve crescent lunge. Begin by drawing up and in with your lower abdomen. Yeah, and then see if you can rotate. Now stretch the crown of your head away from your tailbone and then rotate a little more. Try not to use your elbow like a crowbar. Friday, it's a good idea to do lots of twists in case you want to retoxify yourself later, right? Let's release the hands down towards the mat. Plant your palms, step back to a high plank. Once you get to high plank, prepare for side plank. Bring your big toes together. Take your left hand an inch forward, roll it to the left. Right hand's reaching. Okay, always an option to place the knee down. They're completely different poses. Right? Interestingly, knee down is always a little bit harder for me to balance. So I like to play with this one a little bit because it is so challenging. Hand releases down, come to a high plank pose and lower yourself down to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Send your right leg to the sky in your inhale. When you exhale, step your right foot forward between your palms. Warrior two. All right, in the warrior two pose, okay? Just do like some shoulder shrugs. Woo. And then one thing I'd love for you guys to explore today is practice your warrior two with your palms up. Yeah, and then the front thigh sinks. You can gaze softly at the palm of your right hand. Reach forward now for extended side angle. Right elbow goes to your thigh. Left arm is going to reach overhead towards the wall in front of you. If you'd like to, you can explore reaching the right hand down towards the mat. I invite you to turn your eye, like looking at the ceiling sometimes strains the neck. So if you're noticing that, why not gaze down towards the floor? Yeah. Take a reverse warrior. Reach up with the right hand. Left hand slides lightly down your back leg. We could choose to gaze towards the back foot, which is more side stretching. If you want to look towards the ceiling, it's going to stretch the front body a little bit more. Half moon is next. Begin to bring the right hand about 1.5 feet or so in front of you. Float your back foot up. Stack your shoulders. Reach tall through your left hand. Now flex your left foot. Push through the heel. Anybody want a little more? Then you could try to take your right hand and place it on your shin. Holding there. 3, 2, land it back, reverse your warrior. Breath in. Exhale, chaturanga, high to low plank. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Send the left leg up. Step left foot forward. Inhale, warrior two. Couple of shoulder shrugs. Feel your shoulders balance right over your pelvis. Put the palms face up in this warrior two today. Feel the weight of the world drop off your shoulders. Gaze out beyond your fingertips. Reach forward, tipping it down for extended side angle. Left elbow can be on thigh. Right arm's gonna reach overhead towards the wall in front of you. If you'd like, you can send your left fingertips down towards your left ankle bone. Reversing the warrior, breathe in, stretch it back. And then find the placement of your gaze that helps you to really breathe. I know for me, if I look towards the back foot, it relaxes the throat, gives me more access to deep breathing. And through that deep breath, you can start to deepen the pose. Half moon pose. Cartwheel the left hand forward. Okay. Back foot floats up. Your right foot is at like hip height. Foot is flexed. Right arm's reaching up. If you want to play a little bit, you can slide the left hand up onto the shin. Step it gently back, reverse your warrior. Inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhales, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe deeply in. Emptying it out. Next inhale, the right leg lifts. Exhale, step right foot forward. Crescent lunge. Inhale, arms up. On the exhale, tall twist, right arm back, left arm forward. Revolving half moon pose. Take the left hand, place it about 1.5 feet forward, back leg lifts. Right arm reaching to the sky. Play around with, does it feel better to point your left foot or flex it? Each person is different here. Bend your right knee, the standing leg. Then take your right hand down towards the floor, standing splits. Push the mat away to work the right leg a little straighter. And draw your forehead down towards your shin. Bend your right knee and step it back into a low lunge. Once you get to low lunge, spin the back foot totally flat. Warrior two, rising up. Straighten the front leg. Triangle pose, Trikonasana. Walk your back foot at about 1/2 footprint closer. Turn the toes so it's similar to a warrior one foot. Triangle pose, arms reach out shoulder height. Reach forward and tip down. Hand can be on the shin, ankle, or you could reach for the ground. Sending the left hand to the sky. Release the left hand down to your yoga block, your shin or the mat, then twist and send the right hand to the sky. Revolving triangle pose. Pyramid pose. Both hands come down to the shin, blocks or the mat. Fold over your front thigh. Work your chin slowly or slightly to the chest. Bend your front knee, plant your hands, step it back. High to low plank chaturanga, upward dog. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Yeah, take your left leg to the sky and inhale. Exhale, left foot steps forward. Crescent lunge, inhale, arms lift up. Take a tall twist, left arm back, right arms forward. Revolving half moon, right hand goes about 1.5 feet forward. Back leg lifts. Here, if you can lift your right hip a little higher, you usually feel some freedom in the left hip and glute. Start to bend your standing leg and come to standing splits. Both hands on the floor, then push the floor away. Right toes lift higher, left leg a little straighter. Bend your knee, step back into a low lunge. Spin the foot flat, warrior two. Triangle pose, place your hands on your hips, straighten your front leg, toe heel your back foot in, a touch closer. Turn the back foot so the toes are pointed towards 2 o'clock. Arms reaching up, stretch it forward, then tip it down. Hand could be on your shin, ankle, or maybe the mat. Feel even on your feet. Right hand comes down towards your block, your shin, or the mat, and then send your left hand to the sky, revolving triangle pose. Left hand releases down, pyramid, fold over the front leg. Reconnect with your breath. Bend your front knee, plant your palms, step it back to a high plank pose. Lowering down to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing and downward facing dog. Take your right leg to the sky. On your exhalation, step your right foot forward. And then before we come up to standing, grab your yoga strap or your towel, okay? So you want to bring that with you as you come to standing. If you're going to turn the heels into the toes out, moving into a goddess. So in goddess pose, it's almost like a plie squat, right? So you have your toes pointing up, it's like 30-degree angles, wide stance, knees bent. Knees are tracking towards pinky side of foot. Take the strap in the right hand, and then bring the right hand up and behind your neck. Left arm goes behind you to hold onto the strap. If you can join fingertips, you can just let go of the strap. All right, the first thing I'd love for you guys to do here is to sink down. Plug in evenly into the big toe mound of your foot and relax your toes. Next is draw your low ribs into your torso instead of pushing them forward. Keep your neck long and reach up tall to the crown of your head. Keep breathing into your shoulder. Using a strap, you can decide like how intense you want it to be. I just want you guys to know that we do have one more pose that we're keeping the arms in this position after this. So if you need to ease up a little bit, give yourself permission. Yoga is meant to help us feel good, not the opposite. Next inhale, we're straightening the legs. Keep your arms as they are. Pivot your feet so that your toes point towards the long edge of your mat. Prasarita. Lift up through your heart and then bow it forward. Be mindful not to pull on your neck. Elbows can draw a little bit away from your heart center, broadening across the chest and arms. When you come back up, take your time. Keep your chin really close to your chest. I tend to get a little bit lightheaded, so I always take like extra time. Right? We're going to release the arms. Pause here for a moment and feel. Come back to goddess pose. Turn your heels in and your toes out. Switch hands. The strap goes into the left hand. Left hand will go up to the sky. Bring it behind the nape of the neck. Right arm goes behind your back. Knee and sink low into the goddess pose. Start from the ground up. Feel even on your feet, toes soft. Track your knees a little more towards the pinky sides of the feet. Okay, draw the low ribs into the body and then broaden across the elbows a little more. You might notice that one shoulder feels more tight. If you're right-handed, it's very likely that your right shoulder feels a lot tighter than your left did. Maybe you played sports or you still do. Right? Maybe right shoulder is tighter from your love of tennis. Right? I know my shoulders are just tight from all the times that my dogs pulled the leash so hard chasing a squirrel. Yeah, just let that all rinse out of your shoulders. Keep your arms as they are, straighten your legs, pivot your feet for Prasarita. Toes are pointing towards the long edge of your mat and fold forward. Elbows draw away from your heart so that we're not pulling on the neck. Rise up really slowly, take your time. Open the arms up wide, set the strap at the side of your mat. Place your hands on your hips. Pivot towards the front of the mat. Here we'll step to the top of the mat. When you get to the top of your mat, we'll be moving into a balancing pose. Moving into tree pose. Stand on your left foot. Sole of the right foot can come to the calf or the inner thigh. Palms pressing together. Reach your arms up. Tree pose reminds us that in life, we don't just need strength. And if that's all we needed, we just have to just do weight training. But that often life asks us to be more flexible. So here in swaying tree pose, we're going to sway to the right and place your right hand down on the top of your knee and keep stretching over. Find a place where you fall out
Right, and then see if you can come just a little shy of that when you come back in. Come on back up. Release the right foot to the mat. Let's try the other side. Bring the sole of your left foot up to your calf or inner thigh. Tall, reach up. And start to arch it over. Swaying tree pose. Maybe we fall out, and that's okay. We're just finding our edge. Rise back up. Hands come to the heart. Sweep the arms up to the sky and inhale. On the exhale, fold forward. When you come into forward fold, it's like for us all to come to a seated position. When we get into seated position, we'll be utilizing some of the heat that we've been moving through, a little bit of the kind of shoulder opening that we've been doing to work on a pose that's called crooked crow pose. So Ashtavakrasana, or 8 crooked limb pose. So let's start with like a seated pigeon pose. So you'll have your left knee bent, foot on the floor, cross your right ankle over, and you might want to lean back a little bit. And what's really nice is you're welcome to stay right here, savoring the outer hip and glute stretch. If you'd like to move a little bit like towards the arm balancing pose, what we're going to do is cradle the right leg into the elbow creases. And then send your left foot forward in front of you and just rock your leg back and forth. I can't remember what yoga teacher it was, but this yoga teacher said something like, some people take better care of their cars than they do their bodies, right? So, I mean, it's so important to kind of take care of our physical bodies, keep them healthy, clear. Sometimes we need a yoga tune-up, right, for everything to be running well. We're going to turn to the right. When you turn to the right, take your right leg and then place your right elbow underneath the knee crease. If it's available to you, you could try, like I always say, hoist your right leg high into your shoulder. And then place your hand down. And we're going to lean back a little bit, releasing the right foot. Take your left foot and cross it over the right ankle. Okay? Once you are there, you'll press into your palms and begin to lift your seat up. At the same time, we kick the legs out in front or out to the side, moving into the arm balance. I have very slippery long sleeve shirt on today, so mine is not super successful, but it's about the effort, right? Yeah. I love that idea that all the benefit in a yoga pose is in the attempt. Once you get there, the benefits stop. Just kidding. But the journey to the pose, that's where we learn to like try again, to not judge ourselves, not get defeated when we tried something one time and we weren't successful, so we're not going to do it again, right? That kind of thing. Let's try the other side, guys. Go ahead and windshield wiper your legs and cross your left ankle over. Flex your foot. You can stay right here for your hip stretch. If you're moving into the 8 crooked limb pose, you can cradle, you can send your leg long and sway a little side to side. Maybe you want to turn it a little to the left, then release this leg. Take your left elbow under the knee crease or take it higher, okay? And then from there, we want to lean back, hook your right foot on top of your left ankle, push into your palms and start to lift up. And what's really nice too is sometimes you take a yoga class and people are doing stuff that's like, what in the world, right? And then a year from now, maybe 10 years from now, you find yourself doing that pose and you reflect on how in that one yoga class, you thought everyone was a yoga master that was doing it and now you're doing it. Yeah. All right. Let's come back to the center. I'll turn to the front of the mat. Windshield wiper your knees a little side to side. Release, shake that off. Okay. And then bring the soles of your feet up, your heels up. Hands can go behind the knees. You're more than welcome to have your hands here. Sometimes it feels nice to reach the arms up and try to work your legs a little straighter into the Navasana or boat pose. Lower down into half boat pose, come about a foot above the ground. Rise back up into boat. Lower down half boat. And back up to boat. One more time, lower half boat. Come back up to boat, cross your ankles, place your palms on your mat, step back, high plank pose. In high plank pose, lower down into your forearms, interlace your fingers.
Forearm plank pose here for 15 seconds. Last 3, 2, 1. Release down onto your mat. Okay, arms can be long at your side. Rest your right cheek on the mat. Let your heel strap open. If your low back feels a little bit tight, windshield wiper your heels side to side. Loosen up the low back. Laying on your abdomen and doing this windshield wiper is really wonderful if you do struggle with like occasional or even constant low back pain. It loosens up the low spine after sitting at a desk or on a long drive. Hands can come underneath your shoulders. Okay. Zip legs together, Cobra Bhujangasana. On the inhalation, peel the chin, chest up. Hover your hands above the mat. Elbows are going to draw back behind you. Now start to reach your arms back a little further behind you and interlace your fingers. Here we can start to lift the legs up off the mat, moving into Shalabhasana, locust pose. And release down. Gaze to the opposite side of last time, laying your cheek on the mat. We'll do one more set of cobra to locust. Chin onto the mat, hands under the shoulders. Okay, zip your legs together. On your inhale, lift the chin, chest up. Hover your hands above the mat. Begin to reach back behind you, interlace your fingers, draw the knuckles back, lift up. Release everything down. Gaze towards the left, right cheek on the mat. Pause there for a few breaths. And bringing the chin onto the mat. Bend your knees, draw heels in towards your seat. Reaching back to capture your feet or your ankles for bow pose, Dhanurasana. Begin to lift up by kicking your feet into your hands. When you can't kick your feet any further, try floating the thighs up, rolling forward onto the abdomen. And gaze forward, like imagine looking into your own eyes if there was a mirror in front of you. And then release down slowly. Soft gaze to the right, left cheek on the mat. Heels can slide back and forth. Place your hands underneath your shoulders. Come up onto your knees for hero's pose. In hero's pose, you want to sit back onto your heels. If you'd like the aid of a bolster or even a block to sit on top of, you're more than welcome to. You can also lean just a little forward. If you have knee pain or a knee injury, you can come into a cross-legged seated position instead of doing the hero's pose. Okay? In hero's pose, we'll be doing eagle. Take your arms out and flip your palms up. Cross your right arm under your left, and then cross at the wrist, bringing the palms to Dutch. If shoulders feel tight today, we can take hand to opposite shoulder. To stretch the upper back, draw the elbows down towards your heart now. Then draw your chin down. Breathe into the space between your shoulder blades. This place in the body is called the Valley of Knots. It's a place where the muscles get really tight, hold on to a ton of tension that is associated with caregiving, right? So maybe lately you've been worried, right, about people in your family, worried about people in your community, globally. And just send some breath there. Empathy is an amazing gift. Let's come up slowly, unwind the arms. Go ahead and bring your knees forward, bring your hands forward and kind of wiggle out your ankles. Now on this side of the hero's pose, if you want, you can tuck your toes under and then try to sit back into toe stretch. Okay, in toe stretch, we'll take the arms up, the palms up, left arm goes under. Moving into your eagle on the other side, draw the elbows down towards your heart and draw your chin down as well. Breathe into that valley of nuts. Unwind everything. That was not an easy pose. Walk the hands forward, wiggle your toes, circle your ankles, come back into a downward facing dog. When you are in a downward facing dog, take your right leg and reach it up to the sky. And send your right knee forward for half pigeon pose. Working your shin across the mat. Tuck your back toes under, scoot the foot back behind you. And you can ease down to your elbows. Now let your forehead drop down towards the mat. Rising up onto your hands, make your way back to downward facing dog or three-legged downward facing. Take your left leg up to the sky and an inhale. Draw your left knee forward, resting your shin across your mat. You can tuck your back toes under. Begin to slowly ease down onto the elbows. Or lay the forehead down onto the mat. Now rise up onto our hands and shift your weight all the way to your left hip, sweeping your right leg up and around to the front of your mat. Once you are there, bring the bottoms of your feet together and let your knees butterfly open for seated butterfly pose. Lifting up through your heart, begin to draw your heart forward, gaze can be down. Allow your feet to open to the sky like a book. Elbows can be gently pressing down onto the inner calves, or you could even try placing your elbows and forearms down onto the ground. With an inhalation, come back up. Bring your feet onto the mat, knees bent. Walk your hands behind you about 1.5 feet. Fingertips face forward towards the front of your mat. Roll your shoulders back, and then press into the palms. Lift your hips up. Upward facing table. If it feels okay for your neck, you can look to the wall behind you. Here is where you might feel if you've been holding your breath a little bit this week, right? Really breathe open space into the muscles of the chest. Release the hips down. And you take your legs out long in front of you. Paschimottanasana, flex the feet, move a little side to side. Sweep your arms to the sky and inhale. And when you exhale, fold it forward, 5 deep breaths. Rise back up.
Take your hands behind you, knees bent. One more time, upward facing tabletop. Open across the chest. Press into the feet, lifting up, breathing into the front of the shoulder and chest. Release your hips down. Egg pose is next. Walk your toes in, pointing your toes, walk your toes in as close as you can get them. And then lift your feet up off the ground, hug your knees in. Cross your arms over the top of your shins. And begin to draw your forehead down as if you're trying to tuck yourself back into your eggshell. And then lift the head up, release the foot down. Lower down onto your backs. When you arrive on your backs, you can grab the bottoms of your feet, taking happy baby pose, Ananda Balasana. You can roll a little side to side. Find a wonderful place at the center. Placing or pressing your palms down into your feet. And then push your feet up into your palms. Draw the knees into the chest. Take the arms out like a capital T. Knees drop to the left. Gaze softly to the right. Coming back to the center, the knees can drop to the right, turning your gaze softly to the left. Come back to the center. Hug your knees into your chest. And stretch your legs out long in front of you and place, as we move towards Shavasana, we're going to place our palm right above the navel in that space between the end of the sternum, the breastbone, and right above the navel. And then place the other hand above that as well. Take a moment to adjust your upper body so that your shoulders and arms feel really relaxed. I also encourage you to open your mouth really wide and stretch out your jaw. And then when you close your mouth, just feel the muscles of your face soft and at ease. Try not to alter your breathing, but simply start to notice the rise and fall of your breath. For Shavasana today, keeping it simple, eyes closed, sit back and watch your body breathe. Observe the inflow and outflow, the rise, the fall, the filling up and emptying out. And continue to watch your breath gently rise and fall. Begin to imagine that you are floating on a raft on a peaceful body of water, just floating above the water. Begin to reawaken your body. Gently move your toes and move your fingers. And stretch your arms really long above your head. Bend your knees, slide the heels in towards your seat, and roll off over to your right side. Let's lay your head across your arm like a pillow. Eyes remain closed. And we'll slowly come up to a cross-legged seated position. And then come into a cross-legged seat. Join your palms together at your heart center. You have a really nice tall spine. Another quote that I'll share with you as we end our class, you may have heard before, but it is one of my favorites. When the power of love is greater than the love of power, the world will know peace. And that's by Jimi Hendrix. So let's go out into the world and use our power to love bigger, to shine some light into a dark corner or a dark space. And trust that us rising up and loving big will definitely make a difference. Begin to bow forward. Namaste.